Hello guys, it's Neil. I thought it would be easier to send the presentation this way since I'm off site. So our objective was to create an online new student orientation or revamp the existing one, add to it, delete, whatever. And what we found out is that we think we can bridge the gap between online orientation and on-ground orientation in a pretty impactful way that reaches students where they are, and it kind of speaks the language they speak. And I'm talking about smartphones. Okay, we'll get into that in a minute. But first, I conducted a survey, and here's the link to the findings from that survey. 42 students responded. And the most important thing I want to share is that 42% of those 42 students reported that they want a 50-50 approach to orientation of both on-ground and online options with a guide. So that was important. All right. So here are the five key, the most important things students actually wrote were having a central location or a website, i.e. where they could find all the orientation information and have access when they have time. That flexibility was important. Having orientation that covers how to navigate Blackboard, maybe the basics of how to submit an assignment, how to look up your work, or things that are due, how to find your syllabus. So just kind of a basic background. Having a graduate or student who is successfully in the Kendall program attend the orientation. That is a major recommendation from this research. Hiring student ambassadors or orientation leaders, and having the students who have been there and done that stand out and talk to new incoming students can be highly motivating and could really pay off for us in the long run. Having multiple dates and times to interact with a live Kendall College staff or faculty member. Even though our students, a lot of them are online, they still want that interaction. They yearn to talk to a real human rather than just email. And I think that we could provide that. If we could provide that during orientation time, that is a great step in the right direction for us and our students. Having an introduction to Kendall support staff, the academic service, service center, financial aid, advising, library, etc. We have everything in place. It's just conducting research myself for this project. I found it difficult to find all the departments, and I had to search pretty hard to find, say, like student life compared to the library, when everything should be in a central location, so it makes it easy for students to find this information. That's another big recommendation. And then down here, I want to skip this part, but I started to compile some things about calendars, things like that, and some ideas for completely online and on-ground students. But the number one recommendation from this research is guidebook.com. I highly urge you to go to that site, guidebook.com, check it out, open an account, kind of toy around with the tools in there and see what it's all about. I'm going to show you because it's such a highly visual tool that you need to see it to kind of appreciate it. And what I've done is I downloaded two guides, one from Baldwin-Wallace University, which is a really nice university here in Ohio. And as you can see right away, it'll work on an iPhone, Android, or a web device. So it's basically reaching our students with the tools that they're using already. And for example, phones, and we're using them in a positive way now. This is getting them content that is really specific and important. But what happens is the students get this for free. They download it from the Apple Store or the Android Store, where it's a free download, and it's an app that we create. But let me show you what it is. So since I'm going to click web, this is what you have to imagine. This is what the students would see on their phone as well. And right away, you'll notice there's Facebook and Twitter. So the social media aspect that not all, but some of our students are big users. They have that capability here. We can add that in. And then the schedule. And if you go to the schedule, say this is for the online or for the new student orientation. Let's say I'm interested in student government. I can click on that. I know it's August 25th from 9 to 9:45, and where. And it could be that simple, or we could even add more. It's up to us what we would want to add in that situation. You have maps. So they have maps of the resource fair and the campus maps. We could add, again, whatever we see fit. And then you go to My Schedule, and you have to be an actual user to have this, so I can't create a schedule, but I like this a lot because I think one of the big things that we've heard is students are stressed. New students especially are stressed, and there's a lot of pressure that the first year. And I think the first step in alleviating those concerns is establishing a schedule that, of course, has to be flexible, but putting it down like, hey, I'm going to block off an hour to work on school, and that's it. That's all I'm going to do, or 2 hours, whatever it is. So that schedule is a good first step, and then a to-do list, which I love to-do lists. I write one every day. Um, it has that capability as well. And then it goes through the summer orientation. And this is the fare tables from the map that you saw earlier. So let's say information technology is something you want to learn about. Um, it tells you a little bit about it, contact information, address, and phone number. So it gives all of those, give you information like that. So it makes it easier to kind of find the people that you need to get in touch with. And then they added photos, which I think is kind of like the cherry on top. We could do things like that, general information, and then I really like this feedback where students can rate sessions, so we can collect this data, analyze this data, and make it better. So those are some tools from Baldwin Wallace and how they're using it. And now go to Wesleyan. Wesleyan University in Connecticut is another one that I downloaded, and I wanted to show you that here. Same kind of things. They have schedules and photo albums, but then they have Meet the OLs, and these are the orientation leaders. So these are actual students who lead the orientation. We wouldn't need this many, but just to give you an idea, it gives this little biography of the person who's going to be leading their group, so the new students can look them up, and I think that it gives a good personal touch, which is a huge advantage for us as a for-profit institution versus the traditional universities, is customer service. We can do things they can't. So I think this app helps with that. Staff directory, hugely important to have the staff and a way to contact them for obvious reasons. And then safety emergency, we could add those types of folders to our app if this is the route we go. So it gives numbers to call for emergencies, um, and then student resources. So if we go here, let's say dining resources. Actually, let's go back. Let's say I'm a student. I am really concerned about finances. I need to talk to somebody in financial aid and quick. So I just click on the financial aid link. I see where they're located. So if I'm on campus, I can go see them, or I can call them, or I can email them, and I have their office hours. That's huge to be able to do that and have multiple ways to access the financial aid office, the advising team, whatever it is huge for our students. Okay, and then transfer students. I know we have a lot of transfer students. Advising takes a huge role in that, and enrollment. So you guys could lead the charge on that. What you want transfer students to know. And then we have so many events. We should have. The issue is that it's on a calendar whenever we log into our Kendall portal. It's kind of hard to use, to be honest with you. This simplifies everything. We have really cool things that we're doing, so we need to showcase them to try and boost participation. Okay, so that's kind of the the you know the basics of these apps. And again, we create it and then work with Guidebook to get it to the Apple, the iStore, or the Android store, and then they have to request that to put it on there for students to be able to download it, and students download it for free. All right, I have 1 minute. And closing this out, the University of Oregon is a major user of this product, and I just want to go and show you this. It's just like buying a car. They went for the full deal here. They went for all the features. They have a website, so they took it a step further from just the app to go to the website. And if you look here, you'll see kind of the same information that we were talking about, but it's pretty robust. And they took it from just an app to the website. And the reason is they have on average about 5,000 students, new students every orientation. So obviously that's huge. they needed to keep things organized. They were using 31,000 pages of paper for their each orientation. And what happened in one of their latest orientations with 4,500 students, there were 6,800 downloads of this app, which means there was a 100% adoption rate of this app. 100% of the students who attended orientation used this app. That's huge. Um, so if we can get those kind of numbers, it's worth it. But again, the cost is one thing that comes into play. So to close this out, we'll go to the pricing page here, and we can talk about this. But as you can see, it gets kind of expensive from 0 to 6,500, and this is annually. Um, but it gives you, this page gives you a breakdown of what you get. We have, if we go the standard and go for free, we won't have all these options, but we could test it out if that's what the group decides, and pilot this and see if it works, and then maybe go for something different, depending on how much data we need and how much branding we want to do. That'll depend on the level we choose here. So, all right, thanks guys, and I'm here to answer any questions.